Hello. Welcome to another episode of The Art of Radiating Love. So, say if you are actually listening to the podcast right now, I'm actually really happy that you are right here. So, yeah, welcome to the podcast. Welcome back. Just welcome back. But I'm really happy to have you tuning in to the podcast today. So, as for today, we're going to be talking about episode 29. So, honestly, it's kind of crazy to say that, oh, it's actually episode 29 already. I still remember last year when I made the decision to start a podcast. Like, and then fast forward to right now, it's 29 episodes. Like, right now, it's the 29th. So, yeah, I'm just really proud of myself, really grateful for what this podcast has become, that it's always growing each week. So, yeah, I'm just so happy to be back. Now, honestly, if you have been like a listener, you would know that I normally record my episodes on a Wednesday night, but today is not a Wednesday. It's actually a Saturday night right now. And honestly, I almost did not record this podcast episode because I wouldn't say I forgot about it. Well, it is in my agenda today because I have been really full on Thursday, Friday. Like yesterday was Friday, it was absolutely insane. I was so occupied and I barely had time to do my self-care stuff, but I did manage my way. So, yeah, and right now, as I am actually recording this right now, I'm really proud that even though I'm pretty tired from the day, like I woke up at 7 today and then I have been like relaxing for a bit and then I started hustling around 10 a.m. and then like hustling more, and then in the afternoon I hustled again and I taught some classes, and then my classes finish at 7 p.m. So yeah, and then after that I had quite some stuff to do, so it has been a really long day. Honestly, every day is a long day, but normally Fridays, like the weekends, are very hectic, and with the time that I do have, I can only do so much, like whenever I have any kind of extra time, I would always utilize that time for my self-care stuff or like anything that's creative related. So yeah, that's just what's been going on lately. So like right now, the fact that I am recording this despite feeling quite tired, because normally at this time every week is like my self-care time, like the time I use to rest, because I don't really have that kind of luxury doing during most of the days during the week, just because I do have the luxury of being able to arrange when do I want to work, provided that it's not like a fixed teaching schedule, like all the other tasks and the things I'm trying to do, like all of them I can arrange them and I can do it anytime I want. But personally, I need like some structure, like plan, like I can wake up at 10 or 11 or 12 every day if I wanted to. But there's actually this saying that just because you can, it doesn't mean you have to. So that's how I feel about it. Now, sometimes I wonder, who knows, maybe in the future I might not have a flexible job, right? And then what if I am to have a fixed time to work? Like, what if that flexibility is taken away from me in the future? How am I gonna cope? I feel like I honestly, I know I'm going to be fine regardless of the time, you know? But the thing is, like, right now, I'm not really taking advantage of the flexibility of time that I do have in my career. So, like, and that causes some dilemma sometimes. So I'm not entirely sure how to feel about that. Sometimes I have this drive to, like, oh, I want to go out at this time just because I can, like, I want to spend more time with my family just because I can. But yeah, I have the luxury to do that, but just because I can doesn't mean I should. But at the same time, if I look back at this sometime in the future, I might regret not taking advantage of it. So that's just food for thought right now. Yeah. And yeah, so although I'm supposed to be resting, um I am resting right now. Now, it's not to say that I'm dreading recording this podcast episode, because podcasting has been one of my favorite things to do, like, especially during the past years. I put my heart and soul into this podcast, and I love it. I just love it. Okay. And the fact that I'm doing it right now on the time when I'm supposed to rest is just speaks a lot. So, and anyway, I'm actually not on my desk. I normally record on my table with my laptop right in front of me, you know, so that I can refer back to the notes that I have written, like the point form, like the stuff I want to talk about. But as for today, like I'm actually like leaning on the, what's it called, the headrest of my bed. Is that what you call it? So yeah, I'm just leaning here with my raccoon plush on hand, and then like this huge pink bear right beside me on my pink pajamas. There's like a pillow, there's like two pillows behind me. I have even my favorite blanket right in front of me. So right now I'm just feeling very cozy, and I'm ready to talk about today's podcast episode. So yeah. And so, anyway, I'll just start off with a life update. So, I like talking about life updates. It's just that there's always, like, every time I do these life updates, right? I feel like there's always something new that surprises me every time I talk about it. So, yeah, like, doing this podcasting, one thing that's my favorite thing to do is this segment, my opening segment. So in here I talk about my life updates, like what I'm doing today, what I'm reading, what I'm loving right now. So yeah, let's just talk about my life updates. So as for me, I have found a few new favorite songs. Now I feel like this is what many people do. Like, if you are to discover new music, you would of course search up Spotify, right? And then you just type in on the search bar whatever vibe you're going to. Maybe there's like a certain book you're reading, maybe there's a certain like mood you're going for. Just type in whatever, and then you can find such amazing playlists that are carefully curated. And a lot of the songs that I have come to love, I found them from playlists. And I found a few new favorite songs lately, so I have been like dancing to them in the morning sometimes, like doing a bit of a shimmy, just because that's life, right? You should enjoy new music when it releases, or any kind of music jams that you find, you should dance to them, right? There's no shame in that. And then other than that, I have also recently rearranged my weekly non-negotiables. So I guess most people would call them recurring tasks, like the kind of tasks that you do every week on repeat. So I have been rearranging it because every week there's always something new, something that works, something that doesn't work, something that I want to try, something that I'm trying to find time to slot in during each week. Now I feel like as each week goes by, my recurring tasks, the things that I have to do every week becomes more and more, and I feel like I am slowly getting stretched so thin, and I'm not entirely sure what to do about it, but I wouldn't have it in any other way. Though there is a task that actually has like a deadline to it, and I'm thinking of ditching everything that I do during that 1 week or two just to like catch up on this certain deadline that is very important to me. And I promised myself that in 2025 I'm going to finish this thing. So I'm thinking of dedicating a whole week or two just to finish this. Yeah, there's that. I actually did dedicate almost a week to that during the Chinese New Year, because at that time I really had, like, I'm not working at that time, obviously, and then I intentionally like reduced the recurring tasks I had to do just because, hey, it's like a holiday, you should do lesser work. So I'm thinking of doing that again, but totally forego everything in my recurring tasks except for this one particular task that I'm trying to um finish this year, that I vowed to finish it this year. Is actually literally on my bucket list. I made a promise to myself that I must finish it, so I will finish it. I guess I am almost finished. It's just that I don't have enough time, I guess. Honestly, I don't like saying that, but I do believe that if you make something a priority, you will have the time. Yeah, so that's just something that I'm currently trying to navigate around. And then other than that, I have been trying new things, looking for things I like. And yeah, so while I'm trying new things, I'm also intentionally not repeating the same mistakes. So I learned this from a book that I have read. It's called 13 Things Mentally People Don't Do, and one of the things that mentally people like one of the things that mentally strong people do not do is repeating the same mistakes. Now, honestly, for me, right? Like these recent months, I have come to realize that the universe will always present you with the same problem over and over again until you have finally understood and learned that lesson. And for so long, I didn't know this, but now that I know about this, I'm quite aware and I can see the patterns occurring, and I do notice that, say there is a problem or an issue or a hurdle, it's always like the same kind of thing, though it's not the same kind of circumstance, but it is like the same core problem behind it. So yeah, right now I'm just trying to intentionally not repeat the same mistakes. So, like, one very easy example that I can share is that recently I have been, I guess, healing, you know? Um, and now this is not the reason why I decided to do this. So here's the thing. I have always been a Sarah J. Maas girly fangirl. I love all her books. Like, I read all her books. Like, whatever she writes, I will gobble them up. And when I was 18 years old, during a time when I just finished high school, right? The year, like, I finished high school when I was 17, and then 18, I had nothing, I guess. When I was 18, I didn't have a job. I was at home, like, every day, and then I wasn't schooling as well. So I'm pretty much just existing at home and kind of figuring things out. I guess that was also one of the hardest few times of my life. When I was 18 years old, I guess while I was at my hardest, I picked up the Throne of Glass series. There's 8 books if you count in the novella. There's actually one novella, and then there's another book that was supposed to be a novella, but it ended up not becoming a novella, but instead a full-length book. But it's mainly focused on another character, but I still count that in as part of the series, okay? So I look at it as like 8 books in total. So I read that book when I was 18 during a time where I wasn't entirely happy, I guess. And then right now, next month in April, I'm turning 24, and it would have been 6 years since I last picked up that book. Well, over the years, like, I have been rereading certain parts. I have been rereading, but not exactly like meticulously rereading, it's just like rereading the book that I like, maybe skimming through things just because I can, like, not really meticulously reading it as if I'm reading the book for the first time, but even while I was 18, I don't really understand the book as much as I can, like right now. When I read, I understand everything that's going on. I can see the foreshadowing and just everything, and I can see everything making sense, so yeah, it has been very healing for me. And yeah, like what I was saying just now, because I picked up that book, I have been reading it before bed, I guess. And then because I read like the Throne of Glass books before bed, I couldn't like sleep. Normally if I read other books, like non-Sarah J. Maas books, I can just easily fall asleep right after. But when I read her books lately, I couldn't fall asleep. I just kept thinking about, oh, what's gonna happen, like, and then my heart beats really fast. And then yeah, normally I read for 1 hour before I sleep, and because I figured 1 hour wouldn't work, so I just resorted to 30 minutes, and 30 minutes doesn't work as well. So right now I made like a rule that I cannot read Sarah J. Maas books like right after 8 o'clock. Okay? Right after 8 o'clock, just to like help me calm down, before I sleep at 11. So yeah, that's something that you should totally do. At least for me, that's like one of the rules I give myself, and that's also me not repeating the mistakes that I made. And I have been doing, it's not just this, but there were also a lot of things that I didn't want to repeat the mistakes of. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. And then recently I made the decision to snack once a week, like with the extra calories I have saved during the week. I can snack once a week just because life is all about great food, right? It's not like you can live your entire life without snacking. Like, what's the point? So I allow myself one day of snacking within a certain number of calories and no more than that. So also I have been doing a lot of workouts just to like burn fat now. In the past, I don't really understand why. Like, why is it that when I do the core workouts, like, I couldn't see results? And I didn't realize I had to do cardio in order to be able to really see results, you know? So yeah, that's my life update. And what else? So recently I have been going out to eat with my family once a week, especially on my off days. We would eat during the weekends. And as usual, regardless of what day that is, I've been hustling hard. And then I have like a few exams coming up next month. So these few days I have been planning on like a study schedule. There are a few quizzes I had to do. So I'm gonna study anyway, right? So I want to study in a way where it's efficient and effective and lines up to my and perfectly lines up towards my quiz and also my exams. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Then what I'm reading, so like I said, I have been rereading the Throne of Glass series. It has been really healing, honestly. I feel like this is my favorite reread that I have done ever, just because I am so intentional and meticulous and patient with it. I'm not like coercing myself to like finish this or like skip this part just because I don't want to read it. So I'm not doing that. I'm just taking everything slowly and just enjoying the ride while I'm at it, and also not cause myself not being able to sleep because of that. You know, gosh, yesterday I actually slept at 11, but I woke up at 12:30, and then I slept like probably at 2 or 3 afterwards. I couldn't sleep. I think at the back of my mind while I was sleeping, I was thinking about the books again. So what I did last night, like 1 or 2 a.m., I watched some videos. There's a new video from a YouTuber that I really admire, so I watched like half of her video. I swear I'm gonna continue the other half soon. And then I finished reading Crown of Midnight. Yeah, I finished reading Crown of Midnight. There was like 3 or 4 chapters left, and those, if you have ever read a Sarah J. Maas book, right, you will know that the last few pages are the most intense. So there's that. I guess that's why I couldn't sleep. And then what I did at that time was I went online shopping for a phone cover. Now I have been always looking for like a light pink phone cover, and I wanted something similar to the current one that I'm having right now, like ones with bear patterns on it. Yeah, I bought 2. So one is like a peach pattern with some bears on it, and then another one is like pinkish, you know? It's like checkered with white and pink, some hearts. Yeah, that's what I did. But I don't regret the purchase just because it's quite affordable and it was really cheap. So yeah, I guess I can't wait for the phone case. I'm also thinking of changing my phone screen It's so, there's just, yeah, there's just so many scratches. But I don't really care about it. I like to put my phone in my pocket, so we'll see about that. And what else? I am also, yeah, I'm reading, I have finished The Assassin's Blade, Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and oh, I'm also reading it's more like listening to an audiobook. So while I am doing my core workouts, alright, I would be listening to my audiobook. It's called Shadow and Soul. It's a fantasy, nothing too heavy, quite easy to follow along. And I have been reading in 1.75 times of speed, so that's pretty great. I have listened until like chapter 30-ish, I believe, if I'm not wrong. I think like half of the book. So yeah, quite looking forward to my workout tomorrow, just to like continue. And now I only listen to the book when I'm working out. Like other times I'm too occupied with my podcasts and like my hot girl music, like everything else. Yeah, so I only listen to Shadow and Soul during my workout. And I am also reading a non-fiction called The Joy of Being Selfish. Now, I learned so much from this book. Like, I'm not even halfway. I think I'm like 20% in, and I have learned so much. I've learned so much about guilt, not caring what other people think, and the whys and why nots. So it's quite interesting. I feel like I'm gonna pick up more of this author's book. She's called Michelle Elman. Elman. I hope I'm not like butchering the name, but yeah, she's pretty amazing. She's like a boundaries coach, I believe, like the queen of boundaries. So I'm really loving the read, and I'm loving audiobooks. Okay, I haven't listened to audiobooks in so long. I guess it has a lot to do with the book that you're listening to. Um, but this one, I really like the audiobook of Shadow and Soul. The narrator is just so good. It makes me want to listen more to it. Then I'm also loving multitasking. So it's like while you're doing your clay mass, you can also meditate at the same time. What else? Maybe when you're working out, you can listen to an audiobook at the same time. Taking a shower, you can listen to like a self-development podcast. So there's a lot of things that you can multitask, and it doesn't have to be very taxing, I guess. So lots of things you can do multitasking. What else? And then I'm also loving reading nonfiction before sleeping. Now, I used to be the kind of person that read nonfiction in the morning and fiction at night, but I guess I'm not sure if it's a Sarah J. Maas book problem or what. I guess it's just Sarah J. Maas books. I can't fall asleep to her books. Like, if I don't want to sleep, I can read her books. I will stay awake. Like what happened these past few days. So right now I resorted to reading nonfiction before sleeping. And then I'm loving rereading books. There's just something so magical about rereading books that is just so good and so healing at the same time. Family time, short form content. Yeah, I'm really loving short form content. Yeah, and then I'm also loving strategy. Now I feel like strategy is everything, right? It's like you're laying the foundation groundwork, like the underlying groundwork before everything else. So also I'm very grateful for my work, how I spend my time. What else? My writing skills. Now recently I have been trying this thing, I guess. I have been reading like writing tips on Pinterest, and there's just so many resources, and I get to learn so much from it. I guess like this morning, I think I spent like 5 to 10 minutes reading like a writing tip pin. Okay, and I learned so much from it. Like, I was having trouble with. I don't. Wait. I know a lot about writing dialogue, but there are also things that I don't know about. So, yeah, I have been trying to learn more about that as well. I'm also especially hoping to learn more about descriptive writing, especially descriptive writing, like when you're reading a book, like especially a fictional book, right? And you're trying to describe like the character, like the scene of the place, the the place itself, like description writing. I guess that's like one of my weaker parts. I don't think I have a problem writing um, inner dialogue or dialogue. I think I'm quite good at that. It's just the descriptive writing. So, yeah, that's just something that I can improve on. It's always great to know what you can work on just so that you're never stagnant and not, moving, right? Not growing. So there's that. And yeah, let's just dive right into the podcast episode. So in this episode 29, we're gonna talk about removing the old and making space for the new. Now, especially since it's 2025, well, technically it is March 1 as I am recording this, but it feels like New Year was just yesterday, and then I was blinking my eyes for a few times, and then suddenly it's March already, so it's quite insane. But yeah, I'm just gonna dive right into the podcast chapters. So, firstly, I'll talk about what it means to remove the old and to make space for the new, and then I'll talk about its advantages and why you should do it too. So, what does it mean by removing the old and making space for the new? So, it means that, well, you know the High School Musical song, the one with out with the old, in with the new, goodbye clouds of gray, hello skies of blue. So, yeah, I guess that's one of my few favorite lines from that song. So it means like letting go of old things, people, habits, ways of thinking. It can be anything. And then you make space for new opportunities, ideas, or improvements. So it's often used during times of transition, now, especially like the New Year. So, New Year is like the time where people always remove things that no longer serve them to make space to welcome things that do serve them. But the thing is, most people don't do that. I guess they're not well enough aware, or I guess there's like a reason behind it. But yeah, it's often used during times of transition. Doesn't have to be New Year. It could be maybe you're moving to a new place, starting a new job, like starting fresh with something, making personal changes. Maybe you got a haircut, right? So it's all about embracing growth and fresh starts. So that's what it means. So, first of all, what is the advantage? So, firstly, it gives you clarity and focus. Now, when you get rid of outdated ideas, habits, or clutter, that helps you focus on what truly matters. So it eliminates distractions, allows you to move forward with a clear vision. When you remove so many of the things that don't serve you, you get to make space and welcome the things that do matter to you. And then all of a sudden, you will be so surprised with the amount of energy and time that you actually have for things that do matter. So recently, it has been like that for me. I feel like my energy has been trapped in places where I don't want it to be for a particular something, and then I remove that And then like I had more energy for things that do matter, you know? So, of course, another advantage is the room for growth. So, when you let go of old limitations, right, whether it's self doubt, toxic relationships, or outdated methods, you create space to make new opportunities, knowledge, and experiences. So, at the same time, it goes hand in hand with detachment, I guess. So if you're so attached to something, you don't make space for the things that actually matter. So when you detach and let go of it, you're actually telling to the universe that, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to attract the things that I actually want and that I really care about. And if you're so attached to the old and what no longer serves you, it's like you're having this scarcity mindset at the same time. It's like you're also telling the universe like, I have to stay attached to this because there's no abundance of that anywhere else, and I wouldn't be able to find this anywhere else as well. So let's not have that mind set, shall we? So life gets really suffocating when you only keep the things that no longer serve you. And if you keep keeping them, right, there's no place for better things. So make it make sense, right? The things that actually matter, they won't have a place in your life because you're not intentionally making space for it. All right, and then you would wonder, why is all of this bad thing happening to me? Like, why is nothing good coming in? So you keep wonder and wonder, right? So it doesn't do you good for that. So not only that, but of course the improve mental and emotional well-being. So when you're holding on to the past, whether physically or emotionally, it can be draining, very draining. So when you let go, it helps reduce stress and anxiety, of course, making you feel lighter and more at peace. So letting go, of course, doesn't come easy. It's easy to say, but very hard to do, of course. So it takes a lot of healing and patience and compassion and love and reopening old wounds and acceptance and making peace with the fact that whatever you want to let go, right? It's no longer what your higher self would want you to keep in your life because it stagnates you. And when you know this, you will be ready to let go. So until you are ready to let go, right? You will find yourself tired to the bone and left wondering why you're so often exhausted, I guess, when you know what's draining your energy in the first place. So you'd be able to avoid and protect your sacred bubble. So there's that. Oh, about the sacred bubble, right? I have been trying this thing out. So negative people are unavoidable, I guess, but they can be avoided if you're intentional about it. So let's say you're put into a situation where you're not able to fully like not be in the same space with them. So you can just pretend that, now I'm not sure if this works for everyone, but there is such a thing. So you can try to imagine you're in a golden warm bubble of light, and then like regardless of whatever that person's energy is, if they are like emotionally dumping on you or whatever, it doesn't get to you, you know? So you have to imagine you have this warm, sacred bubble around you. Now, I would say oftentimes I forget to do this, but now that I'm saying it out, I hope I get to remember it more than I do. So that's the third advantage. Now, the fourth is, of course, everyone's favorite and something everyone wants, okay? Increase productivity. So, when you clear out unnecessary tasks, commitments, or clutter, it allows you to use your energy efficiently making you more productive in your personal and professional life. So this is also the part where you have to learn to say no to things, just so that you can say more yeses to the things that you actually care about. So I always say this, but time is unrenewable, and it's so frustrating how everyone in the world knows this, but they do nothing to change it. Okay, time is unrenewable. Okay, once spent, it cannot come back. So recently, I have also got a realization that I tend to feel guilty about certain things, and then there are times where I feel like I owe my time to someone. But now that I think about it, do I actually owe you my time? Like, because once I use it, I'm not able to get it back, you know? And especially when you spend it on things that don't matter, your time, that is a one-way road of you wasting your life away. Now, I like to use the phrase wasting your life away rather than wasting your time, just because it gives you that pressure that, well, technically it is the same thing, right? When you waste your time, you're wasting your life away. So wasting your life away sounds much more serious, and it sounded like it's gonna cause like a much more significant impact if I am to say this to someone. But also because time use can never be taken back no matter what you do. So money can always come back, but time, not really. So that's why every day I wake up feeling so grateful for the way that I spend my time, and that I'm not actually slaving away 8 hours of my life doing work that I don't really care about. So if I am to be working on something, working at a job that I don't give two F's about, I feel like I would go crazy, just because that is 8 hours of precious time wasted. So instead of doing that, you should spend that 8 hours on something that matters to you enough for you to want to spend that 8 hours on that. So there's that. And especially when you are young, right? Especially if you're a youngster, a young person listening to this. When you are when you are young, you are a time millionaire. So use your time to your utmost advantage. Time can buy you so many things. It can especially buy you so much value. So use it wisely. It's not like money. Time can never come back, and we only have such a limited amount of time. I'm so passionate about the subject time, that sometimes I have this drive to like write a book about it, but that's a conversation for another day. So the fifth advantage is, of course, when you remove the old, you make space for the new, right? And of course, it gives you new opportunities and experiences. So now I have always been the kind of girly who is very willing to pay money for experiences and opportunities. I'm not really, I guess I do like material things to a certain extent, but if I get to choose like experience and material things, I would always choose experiences, especially if it's like an experience that I have always wanted, like especially if it's an experience that my younger self has always imagined my older self to experience this someday. And it would be such a shame if I don't um give my younger self that, so to be able to give myself opportunities and experiences, I have to let go of the old and welcome the new, and at the same time I can give my younger self what she has always wanted, experiences that she never got to experience when she was younger. So like I say, when you make space, you invite fresh possibilities, new friendships, career paths, creative ideas, bigger and better things. What else? Personal transformations that wouldn't have been possible otherwise if you keep staying in the old. Okay, so the sixth advantage is enhance creativity and innovation. I actually have like a podcast episode all about creativity. So if you are interested in that, you can check out episode 21. It's called Your Guide to Unlocking Creative Sparks and Fresh Ideas. Now, that's also one of my favorite podcast episodes I have ever recorded. So sometimes I listen back to it just to like remind myself of the advice that I gave out. So yeah, I am when it comes to creativity, right, I have always been the kind of person, well, growing up, I always thought that I'm not creative, like I would never suit like a job that has a lot to do with creativity. So my view in creativity was very limited back then. I didn't understand that creativity is not just about making new things. Creativity is so much more. You can even be creative while you're cooking, dancing, whatever you're doing, writing, especially if you're doing like a piece of craft that when you're making something that's creating. And I have never realized this until these recent years that I feel like I am a very creative person and I have so many ideas. And yeah, I just love creativity. And for that reason, I want to add this in. So another advantage of letting go of the old and welcoming the new is, of course, enhanced creativity and innovation. So when you let go of outdated ways of thinking, okay, it sparks creativity, so it allows you to see things from a fresh new perspective and come up with new solutions. Now, funny thing, right, is that this morning I was, of course, as a person, you think a lot of thoughts to yourself, right? So during this morning, I was actually thinking about, oh, it's March already. I have been doing so much learning, and then suddenly I was thinking that since I've been doing so much learning, am I doing any kind of unlearning? So I guess it really relates back to this as well. So when you are unlearning, when you choose to unlearn things, right, it also means you're letting go of outdated ways of thinking, like letting go of outdated mindsets that no longer serve you. And when you welcome, okay, and when you welcome creativity, right, or like when you welcome something new, it really helps you see from a fresh perspective and just come up with new solutions to certain problems. So, and also the seventh advantage is a stronger sense of self. Now, this is the core of everything. Okay, so when you remove what no longer serves you, right, you gain the better understanding of your values, priorities, and what generally makes you happy. I feel like a person is their most authentic when they are operating from their values, priorities, things that make them happy, things that they genuinely care about. And when you do that, you have a stronger sense of self. So regardless of what happens, all right, you know yourself best. Like nothing people say will ever get to you just because you know yourself the best. You value your opinion above everyone else's, and you just love yourself. So when you live life by your values and priorities and things that just bring you joy, right? You're living in your authenticity and you're no longer shackled to what your heart no longer beats for, right? And lastly, this is also something that I have been doing lately to crafting intentional joy. So I guess the advantage I want to say is to have a more intentional life. So instead of being weighed down by the past, right, you become more intentional about what you bring into your life. So at the same time, you get to make sure it aligns with your goals and purpose, right? Yeah, so that's all for the advantages of removing the old and making space for the new. So this is something that I have been doing in like ever since last month. So I guess if you did listen to the previous episode or two, I did mention something about a certain hurdle that's taking space in my mind currently, but it's nothing that I couldn't handle, I guess. So because of that, I have removed the old to make space for the new. But I guess to have a great life, it just costs your old life, you know. There's this famous saying circulating the internet lately. So yeah, it really costs your old life, and of course um there's going to be discomfort that comes with it, but you should be proud of yourself if you are able to intentionally remove the old to make space of the new, regardless of knowing that you're going to sit in its discomfort. You know, discomfort is inevitable. So it's doing the things that make you uncomfortable that teach you something new. So yeah, there's that. So here's a task for you to implement what you have learned today. So I want you to identify one thing in your life. So whether it's a habit, a mindset, a physical item, or commitment, or just anything. Can be anything really. Okay, it could be a person if you want to. Anything. Alright. Material thing, or maybe it's like a way of thinking, you know, like your mindset or whatever. Just anything that no longer serves you. I want you to identify that thing, and then I want you to remove it or take a step toward letting it go. So if you can't totally let it go, give it time and then come back and reflect on how making that space allowed for something new and better. Okay, and yeah, as usual, I always end it with an affirmation. So these affirmations are all about removing the old to make space for the new. So for each affirmation that I read, you can follow along. So firstly, I release what no longer serves me and welcome new opportunities with open arms. Number 2, letting go creates space for better things to enter my life. Number 3, I trust that by removing the old, I am making room for something greater. So yeah, that is all for the podcast episode today. I'm just so glad that I recorded this podcast. Like every time I record it, I just feel so happy, so fulfilled, like my heart is so full, and yeah, it just uplifts my energy, my vibrations, you know, to a higher frequency, and I'm all for that energy. So yeah, follow my podcast Instagram account, and we are also in TikTok, so it's at the Art of Radiating Love. I upload posts and reels there. So The podcast is also available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and also YouTube. So all links are available in the description. So do leave a 5-star rating. So share it to everyone, screenshot, send a link, send an email, do whatever you can. Alright, so here's a reminder as usual. Now, put yourself first, take care of yourself, love yourself, and always, always radiate love. So as usual, I'm so grateful you're here. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next podcast episode. Bye bye.